Hey friend, Roger Christopherson here again with a new thing I've never done before. But before I get to Babylon, I just want to thank everybody who subscribed this past week. That was pretty cool. Saw a bunch of people jumping on board, and must be like what we do here. And what that is we babble. We babble a lot about music. We don't play clips. There's still some people that think that we do that. Unfortunately, YouTube really hates it when you do that, and they like to block the videos. So I wish I could, but we just can't. Some of these channels get away with it somehow. I have not figured out, cracked the code yet, so unfortunately we don't do that here, but we do babble a lot. There's a lot of channels out there that do that, and that's kind of like the path I chose to go down with this, just to babble about music, because when I'm hanging out with my friends, that's what I love to do, is babble about music. So if that's what you're into, appreciate you stopping by. If it's not what you're into, yeah, sorry, because that's what we do here. But anyway, getting into things. I see all these people do top 10s, top 25s, top 5s, whatever, of music for the year. I don't know if people are really into that or not. I don't ever watch those myself. Some people really like that. I've done a couple of them in the past, and they don't get a whole lot of attention. So I was thinking this year, because there's nothing coming out this week. There's nothing coming out this week to talk about, and I do love to babble. So what have I been doing a lot lately? I've been listening to Christmas music. I like Christmas music if it's done right anyway. I've actually done some reviews on some stuff, and I'm just thinking, I didn't want to do a top 5, because that's just like, my opinion changes from day to day, what I like when it comes to the Christmas songs and stuff like that, or Christmas albums. So I looked at what I have out and what I've been listening to this year, and I'm like, how about if I just do the top 5 albums that I've been listening to this year, because why not? We make the rules here. Let's just do it. The first one I actually got was one by a band that I've been listening to since I was a teenager, and that is Stryper. They finally did a full-fledged Christmas album. They've had a couple songs that have been around since before I even knew who they were. Reason for the Season and Winter Wonderland, they did those songs years and years and years ago. 80s, I don't remember what year it was. And I never really listened to them much, those songs, quite honestly, but I saw this album was coming out, and I'm like, of course I have to get it. I like Stryper. I've never not liked Stryper. This is one of those bands that I really enjoy. And I listened to this album first. This was like back before Thanksgiving. I jumped the gun a little bit. I think, actually, I pulled this out Thanksgiving Day. I remember going over to my daughter's house, and I pulled this out, and I was giving it a listen. And in the middle of a snowstorm, which was so perfect, I guess. But overall, I'm not going to review it too much, but if you're in the Stryper, you're probably going to like this. The original music on here, like the original songs, I really enjoyed a lot. The redos of the Christmas songs, I didn't enjoy quite as much, and it was almost like every other song they were doing it. It was just a little weird, but I don't want to rail on it too much, but it was a mixed bag for me. So that's the first one I listened to. Like I said, this isn't a review. This is just what I got in my stack of CDs. The second one I actually pulled out after all that Thanksgiving stuff was said and done. I actually picked this one up. It came out quite a few years ago, like 10, 15, no, maybe not 15 years ago, 10 years ago or so. I don't remember the exact year. And I'm probably going to say his name wrong, but it's Thomas Halapainen. Maybe I got that right. He is best known for being the keyboardist and songwriter mainly for Nightwish. He's got some other projects he's been involved in, but this is his album called Music Inspired by the Life and Times of Scrooge. And it's pretty funny, because last night I was spending time with the family, and we actually watched the movie A Christmas Carol, with the one with the animated one with what's his name there, Jim Carrey. And that was a creepy movie. Not what I would remember as a kid's movie, but neither is this album. But it's not the style of Nightwish, so if you're expecting that, not that type of thing, but it was more of the folky orchestral stuff. It was actually a cool little mix of music. Got a lot of guest vocalists on here. Got Tony Keiko of Sonata Arca. I don't know if I pronounced his name right. Narration by Alan Reed, which is pretty cool. He offers it in both English and Scottish Gaelic lyrics. I was listening to the English version of it, and I really enjoy it. It's got female vocals on choirs and stuff like that. So if you're into that type of thing, really cool album. I actually really like listening to that one. One that I've got years ago, and I don't even remember where I got this. I cannot remember for the life of me where I got it, but it was like a 2-for-1 CD thing. So I'm counting this as one because it's on one CD anyway. It's REO Speedwagon's Christmas with REO Speedwagon, called A Not So Silent Night, and it was paired with 38 Specials, A Wild-Eyed Christmas Night. And I just remember when my kids were really, really little, just having this out and wrapping presents and listening to the whole thing as I sat on the floor trying to do stuff. So I had been, it'd been a few years since I pulled this one out and listened to it, and it's just cool. I like it because both these bands did it very well. They play the Christmas songs in their style. They didn't like try to make them sound like Christmas songs. It's like just they broke out the guitars, just rocked them out. A lot of standards on here. I don't know. There's a couple originals that they both threw in here, but the majority of these were both covers. In fact, I think our Speedwagon was all cover songs. Maybe I'm kind of talking without even looking here. Yeah, there was here on the 38 Special one. There's 1 or 2 or 3 originals here. 4. Yeah, 4 originals. I guess the rest are all just cover songs of other people's stuff. I don't see any original stuff here on the REO Speedwagon one, but Silent Night, Deck Tall's Little Drummer Boy, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. Of course, got to have Happy Christmas, War Is Over, which I don't know if it's really much of a Christmas song, but people seem to play that at Christmas a lot. Of course, got the Jingle Bell Rock in here, 30th Special. Here Comes Santa Claus. They actually rocked that one pretty good. I like that one. The original one's Christmas and I Miss You is a pretty decent song. Jim Peterick there helped them out on that one. He also wrote that Wild Eyed Christmas Night one on there, so some cool stuff. It's the fun little southern rockish. I mean, REO wasn't really southern rock, but they can actually sound a little bit more southern rock on here than they ever have on anything else. But it was a fun little album to listen to. Broke that one out again, so that was fun. One I was listening to yesterday, I was driving around doing my last minute Christmas shopping, was one by Marillion. Now they've put out some fan, stuff, records from their fan club. This one here that I have is called A Collection of Recycled Gifts, and it's a collection of their fan club released songs all put together on one album, and it was interesting. It was all over the place. I picked it a couple times. I had to look down and make sure it was still playing the CD because it didn't even sound like Marillion a few different times. But I think it was just them having fun doing stuff. Some of this sounded very Marillion-y, if that makes any sense. But of course, they threw on the Happy Christmas, War Is Over on here too. A couple of the ones I really liked were like I Saw Three Ships. The Aaron Marbles was actually pretty cool. They had a kind of a Celtic feel to it, which I really liked. Their version of Carol of the Bells I thought was phenomenal. So if you are a fan of that song, I think you're really going to like that one. Like Child's Christmas in Wales, it ends on that. It's super long. That's like a 24-minute song. That was just kind of an epic thing there, which we would expect from a progressive rock band, I guess they're considered. But yeah, that one was fun to listen to again, just driving around, having that on playing. My son was with me. He was like, what in the world are you listening to? And I'm like, I had to check to make sure. So there's a song like Let It Snow. It sounded like Bing Crosby singing or something like that. I don't know, but all over the place, but it was still fun to listen to. And the one I had on today, which just made me just decide to do this, was John Anderson. And I actually have had this album, I don't know, for quite a few years. I think it came out in 85. Yeah, I had to check the back of it here real quick. 85. And I don't know if I just never knew or had forgotten, but this is a Christmas album. I have not listened to this thing in so long. I completely forgot about this. But listening to it here again, which is the very most recent thing I've got it on right now, actually. Well, not this very second, but I had it on right before I sat down to do this. It's very 80s John Anderson. It's got a lot of synth stuff going on in there, and the production on this is very 80s sounding, very compressed sounding, but I love that version of John Anderson stuff. And it actually has Trevor Rabin on here in a few things. And I didn't realize this as I was reading the credits. It has Frankie Banali playing drums on it, so that was kind of cool. And it's got a lot of children's choir stuff going on. A bunch of Christmas songs, obviously, a lot of traditional stuff, a lot written by him, most of it actually was written by him, but they threw like the traditional stuff in there. Go Holy Night and Jingle Bells is thrown in there. Three Ships is actually an old Christmas song. And Vangelis has one that's actually the second song on here, Easier Said Than Done. So still has like a lot of the guys that help him out. There actually is another version that was re-released, which is what brought my attention back to this. I saw that it was announced that it was re-released with a bunch of bonus stuff on it. And apparently, I haven't gotten it yet, but apparently what they did on this one is the bonus stuff isn't at the end like they tag them on. They actually threw them in the middle and made the whole play, running list different. So I'm going to have to get that. But broke out the old one in the meantime and listening to it just to see if I remembered it at all, which I completely did not. And it's always fun discovering stuff you have already in your collection. And it's kind of what I did with that one. So anyway, that's my quick little rundown. I don't know, it's something I figured I'd try this year, do something different. What are you guys' favorite Christmas albums or songs even? Because there's a few bands out there, artists that just release a song here and there. I can think of like Bon Jovi and Billy Squier come to mind, Kinks, just the ones popped into my head there. And next year I haven't broken out any of the symphonic stuff yet this year. I've seen TSO, I've seen them in concert like 4 times now. I saw them with the Beethoven's, I love saying Beethoven, Beethoven's Night there, too. That one was phenomenal. The Christmas ones are great, but the Beethoven's, obviously, last night or whatever, was one of the most amazing shows I think I've ever seen in my life. But didn't break it out this year. I haven't broken out any of the symphonic stuff, and there's a lot of bands out there that do that symphonic rock type stuff nowadays. In fact, we just had one in town here a couple weeks ago, the Wizards of Winter. I did not see them either. I had a show myself, so it's kind of hard to go watch the show when you're in the show sometimes. But anyway, maybe that's what we'll do next year, the top symphonic albums of Christmas. I don't know. There's a lot more than I think people even realize. But that's where we are this year. What do you guys think? What are your favorite? What ones do you hate? I don't care. Whatever you want to talk about. That's what this is all about. It's always been about that. Just making music aware to our friends and family and whatever. So I think it's about enough babbling today. I got to get back to rapping. So until next year, probably. We'll see ya.